Okay, students, so I welcome you, all of you, in this second lecture of FYP. So today we have Dr. Professor Hussain with us. So he will talk about the guidelines for the final year project report and also some other matters related to your final year project. So I will request Professor Hussain to start his presentation.
Thank you very much, Doc, for introducing me. Hello, can you hear my voice? Is it okay?
Yes, we can hear.
I shared my slides. Can you see the slides?
Yes, I can see.
Great, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Hussein from Faculty of Engineering. Uh, Today I will share with you a few thoughts related to write up of the report, final year project report. And through the discussion, I will try to give a few advices could be helpful for you in your journey. Let me start from the title. This is the title given to me, Creating a Detailed Research Plan with Timelines, Resources, and Data Collection Strategies alongside instructions on the standard structure of a research report. It's a long title. Always try to revise the title several times until you make it more, let me say, clear, simple, and straightforward. Do not make it a long, complicated. When you start reading from the first word, you will forget at the end what is it about. So the presentation about research planning, mainly research plan, resources, effective data collection strategies, data analysis techniques, reporting findings, your findings in a final year project report. As I mentioned, I will give you a few advices. So the first advice I would like to give here: when you start your final year project, please read final year project policy. So Har University have a policy for final year project, and you can know about the journey of what you will expect, what you expect to do, you expected from the supervisor to do, and this is useful for you. And you may ask about research plan. What you mean by research plan? We know research methodology, but what the meaning of research plan? I mean, research plan, it means the general overview, the plan, general view of the plan. Research methodology is the technical details of the plan. Okay, how you gonna meet your objectives, as I explain later on. So simply research plan, talking about the let me say the steps from starting from having problem statement, question driven question for the problem, objectives, scope, limitations, research methodology, and blah blah. So how you will go through the steps? Simply they make it as a cycle: identify research area, design research, carry out the research analysis, and then you publish your report in a final year project report. Why it is important? It's important because you have the vision, you have the structure of your project. When you have a plan, I mean, don't work randomly. You have a plan. You should not go to the next step unless you finish the first step, and they have to be linked to each other. I mean, you don't give, as example, a problem statement about something and your objectives are related to something else. It's supposed to be linked to each other. Here also, I may advise you to read the guidelines for supervision of undergraduate project. So Har University have guidelines. There are several things related to the journey here, your final year project journey, starting from day number one until you finish your project. I mean, the plan contain purpose, research question, as I mentioned before, and then with the steps, you can see here steps until you get the final report, right up, as I will talk about it soon. Um, when you have a problem, and the problem will take you to the research objectives, and then, sorry, research questions. And these questions, based on them, you will write your research objectives. Research objectives are supposed to be short, precise, clear, and simple. Because, I mean, it's like the deal between you and the university, what you gonna do to say at the end that I finished my final year project. So make sure you don't put any words could be, let me say, give a general impression about the or general indication about your project objective. No, make it precise. Exactly, this is what I'm gonna do. 1, 2, 3. It's supposed not to be several, few. Okay, and you will work through the year, through the 2 semesters, until you get met your objectives, the one you put it at the beginning when you wrote your program proposal. Use a smart criteria in writing your objectives. As I mentioned, it's critical. Objectives is very, very important, and you need to be careful when you write them. So use a smart criteria. Smart mean become specific in your writing. Measurable, you can measure it at the end. You can say, okay, it is in this range, and I can measure it through, as example, current, voltage, power, when we talk about electrical engineering. So make them measurable, attainable. You can attain them. Okay. Relevant also to your field or to your project problem statement, and time bound. It means at the end you will put a schedule, a timeline, as I will mention soon. This represent the steps you're gonna take in certain time to complete your project. This is the timeline. I try to copy here from my last academic year student final year project. They put it for semester one. As you can see here, 2 tables, table 1 for semester 1, table 2 for semester 2. And they put the task to the left. You can see the task, the general task. By the way, this is at the beginning. Later on, they put more details into this timeline. You can use any software to make your timeline, as example, Gantt chart or Microsoft Project as example. You can use it. Later on, this is at the beginning when you wrote your proposal. Later on, you may break down each point into several tasks, because at the end, you see here that with time with tasks. The project timeline is time with tasks. It started from September, finish on April, let me say, lately on April. Resources, you need to identify your resources, what you want. If it is experimental, what type of component and equipment you will use. You need to define them at the beginning. If it is software, what type of software, and you need to justify whatever you need from resources. You need to justify, but define it at the beginning, especially people who have experimental work. I advise always to start thinking about the equipment you need early, because later on you may face some problem, you lose some of the components due to the experiments. So, and it is not easy to recover them. So from the beginning, make sure that the resources you need is listed black and white. Now, data collection method, there are several ways to collect your data. Use the right data collection method. I mean, are you going to collect your data by observation, by experiment, by simulation, by survey, by interview, mix of them? What method of data collection you will adopt? Okay, and this could be clear while you are doing your literature survey, because you will learn from other people's experience. Okay, and you need to know also the limitation for each one of them. I mean, strength and weakness of each one of these data collection. Sampling technique, also the sampling technique, you need to specify which one. You may use more than one sampling technique. As I will give example, when in my field, when I talk about solar energy, the way how we collect the data related to performance of photovoltaic systems. Is it daily, 10 days, 30 days, per month, in a day? Is it in hours? Is it in minutes? Based on what? And also the type of data. I mean, sometimes you take data randomly to want to justify or to find something, or systematically in a system way. And this is, as I mentioned, to be learned through your literature survey. You will see what other people did and you follow their practice. So data sampling technique is important, and you need to justify. While I'm talking here about your data and your collection, let me give a few advices about the results. Always I advise my students to spend time in let me say producing their results. Yeah, you use line graph, bar chart, pie chart, different methods, histogram, different method, but try to spend time in plotting your graphs. If it is two dimension like the one on the right, on the left, or three dimension on the right, these are wonderful and perfect graphs. They are very simple, clear, and explain the idea. I mean, look, I mean, several things in your mind, but putting them in a report is something else, because people will read your report. They need to understand what you would like to transfer to them, the information or knowledge. So spend time on there is no way that you put data not related to your objective. We expect that the units are there. The scale is selected carefully. I always advise my students to spend time when they produce the graph, spend much time in looking from different side of view. Another example about how important to look at the data. Here, as you can see to the left, is 5 graphs, but I'm concerned on the yellow one. Okay, so both of these graphs, I mean, to the left or to the right, is the same graph. Just I converted the color on the right to focus on my graph, the one I would like to talk about. So the right one is better than the left one, because several graphs on the same X and Y may, let me say, make confuse for the reader. Also, you may get a lot of data, several data. You don't need to represent all of them. As example here, the student represent several data, because if you look to this, you cannot understand what he want to from this graph. No, be selective and put your results in a good way so people can follow you. The other point is the ethical consideration. You need to consider the ethical guidelines. Suhar University have ethics and biosafety policy. I advise you to read this policy to have an idea about what is your right, what is your duty, okay, and to apply them in your research. If there is forms, you need to fill it and submit it at the beginning of your project. Data management. Always I advise students to manage their data. I mean, not only collecting them, how they store them, how they share them. Is there any copyright or intellectual property? Always try to put your data in more than one place. As example, more than one flash memory, external hard disk in different places. We don't want to later on that you lose your computer due to virus or whatever it is, and you lose your data. Data should be with all the team members. It's not one, and also should be shared with the supervisor, and make sure that it is secure. Budgeting research from the beginning, the student in their proposal with the supervisor, they have agreement on the equipment and then on the budget, and it should be realistic. I mean, in line with the university. So Suhar University, how much the maximum budget allowed, and you need to check the cost and follow up the budget to make sure that it will it will be enough to fit your requirements. Regularly review and adjust your budget. Monitoring progress. You need to monitor your progress through the Gantt chart. I remember 20 years back, maybe, when we started in Suhar University, there is a course called Project Management delivered for level 4 students. It's very useful. And at that time, I took the students to the lab to practice on different cases. Even they try to link it to their final year project, how they can monitor and control the flow of cash, the progress. Gantt chart could be useful here. Adapting challenge. Don't expect that while you are working in your journey for final year project, everything will be easy and straightforward. No, expect challenge. Sometimes experimental challenge, simulation challenge. Sometimes you lose your way in the middle of your work while there is, let me say, code you are working on, or while you are doing experiment either the environmental is not supporting or the component or equipment get faulted. So these challenges are there. Always expect them and be ready to adapt with them. And sometimes you may deviate, let me say, part of your work when there is necessary to deviate if there is challenges you cannot fulfill or deal with. Data analysis and techniques. I mean, this is very, very crucial part of your report. I mean, from experience, I found several of our students, they focus more on the theoretical part, on the literature survey, on the equipment and experiment, which is useful and important, but they give less attention to the to their results, to the analysis of their results, to look inside their results. No, this should be the opposite. I mean, people came, at the end, people will come to listen to your presentation and will discuss you on your report. I mean, they want to see your work, not other people work. Theory, you take it from resources. Literature survey is important, and also resources with your input. But main contribution coming through the analysis, how you look to your data. I mean, how you can say at the end of your journey that my report, I met my objectives. How you can justify it? Justify through the analysis. When you analyze your data, you can justify it. Some of the there are several methods to analyze your data. Some of them statistical analysis. You already study statistical analysis like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, blah blah blah, and errors and accuracy if you are talking about modeling. And also there are graphical way of analyzing your data, such as histogram, frequency, cumulative histogram. Some graphical methods you use in your analysis could be talking about quantitative, some of them qualitative, like bar chart, line graph, polyline graph, histogram, pie chart also is a qualitative method. I mean, you need to spend much time here on the analysis. So give attention to this chapter. By the way, chapter number 4 usually people try to write their analysis, result discussion and analysis. Report finding. Now, when you write your report here, I also give another advice here. Please read final year project guidelines. There is a guidelines produced by Sohar University and students. This is just the first cover page. I usually try to put the cover page here and read the report because it show you how I mean, take you through the report writing, what is the, let me say, line space between lines, font type, size, color, sections, subsections, figure and table captions. I mean, several guidelines could be useful here. Even writing references. What is the system used? I mean, adopted by, or let me say, approved by Sohar University to use while you are citing your other people work. Also, several of the comments I mentioned here need to be considered also in your presentation. As you know, at the end of this journey, and final year project journey, you will submit a report, final year project report. You will present your work in a presentation PPT, and you will sit for a discussion. Okay, a viva. These are at the end of the academic year. So presentation and final year project are close or have in common in what we are talking here. Need to be considered while you are preparing your presentation. Ensure it's clear. I mean, today I know there are several OpenAI websites and our students are using them. But please, my advice, don't copy paste directly from the OpenAI resources. Read what you copy. You read what you take and try to simplify. Having final year project 100 pages doesn't mean this is good. Less pages, but more precise, accurate, clear, and simple is better. So it's not merit of how many words or pages you have in your report. Search for or seek a feedback or to evaluate your work. This could be done through discussion with your team work. I mean, you are, let me say, 4 students per group. you discuss with your colleagues, discussion with the supervisor, when also when you participate with by activities, through activities, with, as example, presentation you give, or for in a seminar, or in a conference, or attended any activity, people will interact with you, give you their feedback. So this is very useful. Try to use them. I advise always to, for our final year project student, to let me say, exchange their knowledge and information and idea with others, to get feedback to improve their work. And in a summary, I can conclude here, because I would like to give you time to ask, um, is that there are several policy, regulations, framework, and guidelines. Sohar University, they have. I advise you read them. Okay, if you don't have access to them, ask your supervisor. They can provide, because there it's useful for you to know your duty, your rights, and to follow Sohar University requirement. Spend time on your data, on the analysis of your data, on collecting the justified. Maybe the last advice I may give you is, enjoy the trip. Don't look to the station. Enjoy the trip from now to the end of April, when you attend your Viva. So enjoy the way, learn as much as you can, interact with people, and I hope all the best for you. Thank you very much. I will wait for your questions. Mike, with you, Dr. Muhammad.
Thank you, Professor, for your good presentation. Okay, students, please, if you have any question, if you want to discuss anything, any matter related to final year project, so you can discuss with Professor Hassan. So he's here. Yes, students, can you hear us? Yes, students. Miss Aisha, Miss Amani, do you have any question? Any student? We need your feedback. We need your feedback. Mr. Muhammad Adris. Muhammad Adris, can you hear?
Yes, Doctor.
So would you like to discuss any matter related to FYP?
Right now, no. The points are clear until now.
Okay.
So there is no doubt right now.
So, okay. So have you started your project, Mr. Adris?
We are still looking for our materials, and we are searching. We are looking what previously done. We are looking for articles and research papers, which people did previously, and referring them, using them as a reference.
We are conducting these lectures just to help the students, because there are various aspects of final year project which start from the what we say, the topic of final year project, then research methodology, research objectives. So there are many aspects that should be clear to the students. So this is the objective of this lecture series. Unfortunately, only a few students joined out of more than 100 students. So it is not. So we expect more students. They should join the lectures, so they should get benefit from these lectures, because it will be helpful for you. Okay. So like if you need to do the literature review, how can you do the literature review? So if you join the presentation, so definitely it will help. So other students, any other students, please. Can you hear us? Just Professor Hussain, would you like to add something else?
Yeah. I try to be short, to give them time to ask. I don't know. Maybe they are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Just enjoy the trip. I mean, don't take it as a task given to you, like courses, and because without enjoyment you will not learn. I mean, try to enjoy the trip, as I mentioned, and it's opportunity to have a chat with your supervisor, with your colleagues, and I do believe that you will learn a lot. Yeah. So all the best, all the best from my side, Doc. I have nothing to add.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. So students, if there is no question, so we would like to end the today lecture here. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you, Professor Hussain.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good day.